While Congress and the White House collude to ensure that the rich will have to contribute less in taxes next year, Wall Street is hard at work ensuring that the rich will have more money on which to pay their lower taxes. Our fourth story tonight, a game-changing report of sorts from the New York Times about the mysterious derivatives market and the 9 ultra-rich bankers who control it behind closed doors, accountable to no one. Derivatives are basically financial bets about the future. They affect you more than you know. Heating oil companies, as the Times explains it, can purchase derivatives on the future price of heating oil to hedge against big fluctuations in price. That gives customers, you, a chance to avoid massive spikes. But at what cost? Nobody knows the cost. Derivatives on commodities ranging from jet fuel, factoring into your airline ticket price, to this year's harvest, factoring into the cost of your food, are bought and sold in secret, trillions of dollars worth. But only the biggest Wall Street financial firms know how much you pay for them. Why? Because when two parties make these bets on, for instance, wheat prices, neither one knows how much the other is getting or paying. Only the middleman, Wall Street, knows that, which means no one knows how much Wall Street skims off the top for itself, which means no one knows how much this skimming adds to the price you eventually pay for the bread made from that wheat they're betting on. Quoting two anonymous sources familiar with one of Wall Street's most powerful derivative committees, the Intercontinental Exchange, the Times revealed its 9 members, all of them from the world's biggest financial firms, not merely keeping the prices and profits secret, but blocking the creation of open clearinghouses, and even the addition of other banks who might add some actual competition to this equation. Last week, chairman of the government commission that oversees, or at least theoretically oversees, derivatives, Gary Gensler, canceled a vote on making derivative prices more transparent. Mr. Gensler pointed to the Post despite having refused to recant his role in deregulating the banks under President Clinton, but the Times reporting speculation that the vote was canceled because Gensler lacked the votes from fellow commissioners. This coming amid a flurry of headlines related, at least in the olfactory sense. Former Obama director of the Office of Management and Budget, Peter Orszag, taking a senior position with Citigroup. He's expected to make millions of dollars in the role after funneling billions from taxpayers to keep this company afloat. Citigroup. And then there's Massachusetts Republican Senator Scott Brown. He helped water down this summer's Wall Street reform bill, shifting $19 billion in costs from the banks to the taxpayers, keeping the door open for banks to keep betting their own money in risky bets like derivatives. The Boston Globe now revealing that in 3 weeks, when his vote emerged as the pivotal swing vote for reform, Brown received $140,000 in donations from financial firms and their executives, while other Republicans received an average of just $28,000. Brown's spokesperson telling the Globe, there is absolutely zero connection between policy and fundraising. To insinuate otherwise is just plain wrong. With us tonight to insinuate otherwise, Rolling Stone contributing editor Matt Taibbi, the author of Griftopia, Bubble Machines, Vampire Squids, and the Long Con that is breaking America. Matt, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
You put any more meat on the bones of this Wall Street, or the Times story about the Wall Street secret committees?
Yeah, this is just a straight-up price-fixing oligopoly. You know, just to put it, it's kind of like bookies in Las Vegas. Imagine if all the casinos in Las Vegas got together and conspired to make the football lines non-published, so that when you went to go to bet on a game, nobody knew what the spread was in the game. That's exactly what we're dealing with derivatives. Nobody knows what the prices are of credit default swaps and interest rate swaps. So when these clients go in the market to buy this stuff, one side is buying too high and the other side is buying too low, and then they take all the fat in between.
So if most banking tricks are impenetrable to the public, this is even more impenetrable because of the ways that money gets sucked out of Main Street into Wall Street. This is the one we have virtually no information about.
Well, first of all, derivatives are just unbelievably complicated. Even the people who do this stuff for a living have a hard time explaining it to each other. So derivatives are basically impenetrable to the ordinary public. And this particular whole issue of clearing and putting things on an open exchanges, this was hotly debated all summer in Congress, and it got virtually no press because nobody understands it. But it's a very, very important issue. It's sort of like the stock exchange. Everybody knows what the price of IBM is, so when you go on the stock exchange to buy a share of IBM, it's completely clear you're not getting shafted by anybody. But when you go to buy a credit default swap on jet fuel or you know, on IBM or on a municipal bond or interest rate swap, nobody knows. You have to go to one of these big banks, Goldman, Bank of America, and they just kind of tell you the price, and you have to kind of take their word for it.
After you've paid it, too,
right.
Just to add the little element of surprise. It's a game of chance, and all the rules are made up as you go along, basically.
Right. Right.
Mr. Gensler, who chairs this Commodities Future Trading Commission, which supposedly has oversight over this, why is he not doing anything?
Well, there's Gensler is an alum of Goldman Sachs. When he was named the head of the commission, there was a lot of controversy about it, but he's actually sort of turned out to be one of the good guys on a lot of these issues. But what everybody's saying now is that he no longer has the votes to dominate the commission. You need 3 votes on the Commodity Futures Trading Commission to get anything done. There are only 2 Republicans, but there's been a roadblock in the last couple of weeks. He's been unable to get some things passed. And the rumor is that he no longer has the wherewithal to dominate the commission.
The last point about Scott Brown's assertion that there's no connection between his work on behalf of Wall Street and them having to give him $140,000 in the 3 weeks when his vote was concerned. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, I was covering that whole business when the entire Dodd-Frank bill was basically being held up by Scott Brown this summer. And if this revelation is true, that he was getting $140,000 at the time that he was, for instance, wiping out the $19 billion fee that was going to be assessed on Wall Street to pay for the cost of this bill. I mean, that's a classic Washington pay-for-play situation, and for him to deny that is it's comic.
It's lovely to see an outsider coming in and learning the ways of Washington so quickly.
Instantaneously, yes.
Matt Taibbi, contributing editor at Rolling Stone. Always a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.